Hi, yeah. Well, I'm basically here in Ronda in inland Malaga, and it's been absolutely chucking it down for 2 days now, and we just don't know when it's going to stop. And it's so bizarre because I'm talking to my journalist in southern Valencia just an hour ago, and he said it's absolutely bright sunshine there. They've had absolutely no rain at all, but as you know, during the night in Valencia, it's been horrific in the Ribera Alta region. And there's been some terrible, terrible scenes there where, I mean, we've never seen rain like it. And as you know, there's now 51 confirmed died in the Ribera Alta area, most of them. Also, some of them in inland Albacete. But I mean, yesterday I've got a member of staff who's coming into work. She wasn't able to get in because the river had completely flooded in her town here in Alara in Malaga. We had some guests who were due to arrive here yesterday. They took 5 hours because all the roads were blocked where they were coming from. And we've had other friends who are waiting at Gatwick to get a flight over to Malaga, and their flight was due to take off at 1 a.m. It's due to take off originally at 5 p.m, and they were saying it was going to leave at 1 a.m. I don't even know if they've arrived because there's been such bad flooding at Malaga Airport. Also, as you know, at Valencia Airport was shut for a number of hours. Valencia Port is still shut. This is, and what we've had here is rain arriving. We've had half a year's rain arriving in just 3 or 4 hours. Sometimes we're talking about 150, 200 litres of rain falling in just a few hours, and that comes after 2 years of relative drought here, where it's been so dry. It's been so dry here that reservoirs were down to below 8 or 9% capacity in some parts of Malaga province and Andalusia. So they're effectively dead. So, we do need the rain and we do need the water, but can we just have it spread out a little bit more, please? It's becoming very, very difficult.
And John, how are the emergency services coping?
Well, I mean, they're out there. UME, which is the emergency fire crews, have all been sent out to Valencia from all around Spain, and they're just finding it very, very difficult. I know that when I went to bed last night on the A3 motorway down through Albacete, there were hundreds of drivers stuck in their cars. They couldn't go forward or back, and the emergency services were trying very hard to help them move. And as of this morning, a lot of them are still there, and I hope some of the dead weren't people in their cars who were just sort of waiting to be rescued.
And as far as tourists are concerned, there'll be a lot of Brits and other nationalities who are in the region at the moment. It is a year-round area, really, for tourists, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's as you probably know, in the Valencia area, Alicante, the Costa Blanca, it's a very popular area for tourists, and there'll be loads coming out. There'll be loads would have been flying out to Valencia and to Alicante Airport. So, this is going to affect a lot of people's holiday plans, and I think people need to be very careful. Need to think carefully where they're going, and tread with care.
Absolutely. And as far as the rains are concerned, you said 6 months in just a few hours in places. Valencia and Malaga airports closed for a time, hundreds of people trapped in their cars. But it doesn't look as though this is going to end anytime soon. We're hearing from Amelia that the rain is still scheduled until Thursday, tomorrow.
Exactly. And it's going to get worse. It's exactly what they're saying. There's more heavy rainfall coming. It's the so-called cold drop or Dana conditions here, where the kind of cold air comes in from the north and meets the sort of warm, humid air from the south. And I don't know if you remember, about 5 years ago, there was one of these incidents in Mallorca, and I think about 20 people died there. It's very sudden. And, we're looking around here now. I'm looking around here in Ronda, and, you just don't know at what point suddenly you're going to get these huge downpours. I mean, our track to our house, half it's been taken away. So we had to move our cars up the hill a little bit just in case. And you can probably hear below me the river, which we can hardly normally hear, is like a torment. And it's racing past the water. So, I just really hope that, I mean, it's great to have the rain, but I really hope that it doesn't keep, chucking it down so heavily, that's a bit softer.
Yeah, the trouble is when you get rain like this, it doesn't soak into the ground, it just washes off, doesn't it? And that's when we're seeing these torrents going through towns and villages. And we're hearing, John, that people are literally clinging for their lives to trees.
Yeah, I haven't seen the tree footage yet, but I did see people on the roofs of their houses. And I was watching live on the news last night. A woman was in her house with 2 young kids. They'd had a power cut, so she was in the pitch black, and she showed her stairs coming up the stairs from the first floor, and the water was already on the just below the first floor. So we're talking, I'm guessing, about 2 meters high in her house. And they left her. This was about 9:30 last night, and I really hope that they somehow got to her. But yeah, I mean, there's quite a few areas. I mean, as you know, they've built on floodplains here, and they've built everywhere. There was sort of total discontrol in terms of planning here for many, many decades, and that doesn't help, when you're building in floodplains. And so, of course, I noticed recently, actually, I mean, it's fairly obvious, really, but recently they had all the diggers out, the caterpillars around Marbella and Estepona, and they were digging out all the rivers and making sure that they dug them deeply so that water can get into the sea, because, they've seen the flooding before down here. So they were preparing it. But nonetheless, the Guadalhorce River did break its banks near Alara, and I don't know if you saw some footage yesterday, but a lot of the cars got flooded away, got sent away down the river there. One police car actually even got turned over and sent down the river. So it's fairly biblical here, fairly scary.
Yeah, just reading the mayor of Utiel, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, John, Ricardo Gabaldon, saying yesterday was the worst day of my life. It's a town near the town of Valencia. I was speaking to the local broadcaster. He said we were trapped like rats. Cars and trash containers were flowing down the streets. The water was rising to 3 meters high, he said, and that sort of chimes with what you were saying with that lady who had 2 meters of water in her house.
I mean, yes, it's Utiel Requena is the area, and it's a famous wine region there. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to their vines there. I'm sure they probably picked them, actually, because it's been so hot, so their wine may have saved their harvest. But yeah, that's an inland area of Valencia, and yeah, I don't understand. It's very patchy. It just seems that some areas have been, so badly affected, whilst others, I mean, it's strange that in Alicante it's hardly rained, isn't it? It's really odd that it's a bright sunshine today. When I was talking to my reporter Alex down there today, and it just seems so odd that it's some areas it suddenly rains and the heavens open, and like the mayor's saying, I think the 51 bodies they found, and that's going to go up. That figure will go up. I think 3/4 of those are in that area of inland Valencia.
Okay. John, we'll let you go. Thank you very much indeed for the update. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Nice to speak to you.